on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope everyone out there is having a great Friday night. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. And of course, I hope you all are ready for another live 2024 fantasy football mock draft here at the Catch with you guys, of course, with the Catch fam. It is never too early to run a fantasy football mock draft, and we have got 1 day left until the month of June starts. Before you know it, it'll be July, then it'll be August, and everything is just going to keep ramping up as we continue to progress through the fantasy football off season. So we'll be kicking off this mock draft in about 1 minute here. We've got Pete in the house. What's going on, my guy?
Not much, chilling. Friday night, getting a little fantasy action in. OTAs this week, some drama, lots of big names holding out. What's going on with Lamar? Lamar, you got paid last year. You need to show up to these workouts, my guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Skipping OTAs. What's up, my guy? What's up?
He's also he's light. He's lost 10 pounds.
I saw that. That's not good. But he does look like he put on some muscle. He did look a little firmer.
That might be good news because he's already pretty light as is.
No kidding. It's gonna hurt his stock. Not draft. Put him on the do not draft board now.
I have no issue with drafting Lamar still in any way whatsoever. But we'll see. I'm all in on that Ravens offense this year, I think. For the most part. I don't know. Rashad Bateman starting to creep up as a sleeper again. And I'm not touching Bateman. I'm just not there.
Let's ride the King. I feel like the King's gonna have a good year. Or maybe he gets the Ravens curse and he tears his ACL week 1. Because that's the Raven running back curse.
Yeah, I don't want to see anything bad happen to Derrick Henry. No. I want a fully healthy Derrick Henry season with the Ravens, and I want to see a fully healthy running back in general with the Ravens. So,
yeah, but it wouldn't be the NFL season if the Ravens had a fully healthy backfield.
I know that might be true, but it's just you're right. Every single year, it tends to happen. But Gus Edwards was healthy for most of last year.
That's true, but he was he came in their third string, I think he started on the depth chart and then kind of got that starting role. I don't know. There's real no set depth chart in Baltimore. I'll give you that. It's kind of the starter and then everybody else.
And what, Keaton Mitchell's the number 2 behind Derrick Henry right now?
Yeah, but he blew out. Didn't he? Got hurt last year too. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but he looked good, man. They need to get more Keaton Mitchell the rock more.
He did look good, so I hope he can play this year. But, I mean, you just imagine a split where Keaton Mitchell comes in at times and Derrick Henry's already doing his thing and Lamar's doing his thing. That'd be terrifying. But
actual thunder and lightning right there. Literal thunder. With some real lightning out of the back. That's just hell. And then Lamar does whatever Lamar does.
And I mean, Derrick Henry's going way too late in mock drafts, but then Justice Hill is the next option. So
I like Justice Hill too.
I don't hate him, right? But yeah, Keaton Mitchell's probably not going to be ready for week 1. But anyways. I do like Zay Flowers still. I feel like there's such a stain on Zay Flowers because of the playoff performance.
The fumble. He was having a good he had a good game against the Texans, I think. And then it just the fumble. Oh, the fumble.
And but he had a good fantasy season.
He did. For a rookie, I mean, you can't complain at all for a rookie.
Sure. But yeah, I just don't feel great about Bateman. I've never really been outside of his rookie season a Bateman guy, but he's kind of creeping back up as an off-season sleeper. So chat, let us know in or out on Rashad Bateman. Kat's good to see you in the house. Chase, what's going on, man? Hello. Kat says I'm back in on Bateman. I promise he's good at football, just has to stay. And sometimes that's the problem, though. Sometimes you can just be out on a guy because they don't stay healthy, right? But he did get extended by Baltimore for what it's worth. And then, I mean, we've got, the rookie Walker, who admittedly I have drafted in a couple of rookie drafts in the dynasty leagues because there's a chance for him to get playing time. And then you got Nelson Aguilar on this team, too. So, which Aguilar has shown some chemistry with, Lamar. So, for what that is worth. But I don't. I mean, I guess there's a path here for Bateman, but I just don't. I don't feel great about it personally. All right, second round's already wrapped up, and into the third round we go tonight. Moving quick. Kat says Mitchell had a torn ACL.
Yeah, I thought it was something serious.
Yeah, that's no brainer. Probably won't play much, if any. Here we go, hyping up a Keith Mitchell, Derrick Henry backfield, and he's probably not even going to play much. Yeah, because he got hurt
toward the end.
Towards the end.
It was still in the fantasy season, so it wasn't at the end.
Right.
End.
I remember because he was on one of my rosters. I was like, of course, this is my luck. So, so Jalen Waddle got extended. He got the bag too.
That's bad. That's a bad extension. Tua's got you can't pay Tua now. I mean, Jesus.
I mean, honestly, I feel like these teams always figure out a way to pay whoever. I don't understand the cap anymore, but yeah, I mean, I think in a sense that because really it on paper makes more sense for the Dolphins to have extended Waddle next season, but I think with a couple looming contracts out there, Justin Jefferson being the big one, Jamar Chase, does CeeDee Lamb get extended yet?
No, he's holding out till I heard he's holding out till Jefferson signs his contract because he wants to make more money than Jefferson, which is hilarious because his numbers are nowhere close to Jefferson's.
But recency bias comes into play with extensions, and I mean, you look at last season, CeeDee Lamb was the best wide receiver in the league, maybe outside of Tyreek Hill. I mean, you could really argue either way there, and obviously Jefferson, you can still argue when healthy, right, was just as good or if not better. So, man, and Amon-Ra just got paid. I mean, Devonta Smith, the Eagles are smart about that. So I think this was really just the Dolphins getting in front of these other contracts. But because by the time they would have extended Waddle next year, the whole wide receiver market's going to be completely reset. So, I mean, he's the fourth highest paid wide receiver in the league, but
he'll be seventh. Yeah, 3 more guys are going to move up.
In another year or two, he probably won't even be in the top 10, especially in 2 years. So
I just feel like it's a lot for Jalen Waddle.
It is.
He was super, super mediocre last year, painfully mediocre.
Yes, I have a love-hate relationship with Waddle because always liked him in fantasy. Then last year was really the first year I had a lot of shares of him in fantasy, and he had his worst season. But he still had over 1,000 receiving yards off 72 receptions and 4 touchdowns, but was wide receiver 34, and definitely felt, when you look at that offense as a whole last season, felt very mediocre compared to
everybody else scored but him. The 4 touchdowns is just yikes when you see the numbers that most are Tyreek and A-Chain even put up. But then again, maybe they only had so many touchdowns to go around.
Sure. Rasheen Ali is a deep sleeper for Baltimore. Yeah, I do feel like somebody's got to step up on that roster at the wide receiver position. And I still feel like the Ravens, I mean, I know they went out and got Henry, of course, but you still feel like they could have potentially done just more in terms of weapons for Lamar Jackson this offseason. So, I mean, there's still time, I guess, but not really anyone out there unless they make a wild trade that involves T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk. And, there's no way that Higgins is going to end up on Baltimore's roster. Be absolutely crazy. But we'll see. We'll see. Odell over there and the team we were talking about with Miami, no longer with the Ravens. And, Odell wasn't great last year, but he wasn't certainly bad.
No, he's washed. I mean, he was washed at the end
for what he is at this point in his career. down the stretch was actually pretty decent, and I think a good. He's just not what the OG Odell anymore, right? He's coming in to play a very specific role, and I actually think Miami is a pretty good landing spot for him. But
I think it's a horrible landing spot because of
well,
the off the field stuff. He's just gonna
that's
be
not
sitting
true.
there drinking on a boat all day,
You
partying.
blame him?
Like, I don't think he's gonna be locked. He ain't gonna be, football over here.
And I don't really think he needs to be, right? Especially when you have, you know, uh, opposing defenses lining up against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and both of those running backs on the roster. So the Dolphins are such an interesting team to me because I just don't know if they're like going to be really great or if they're just going to like completely have a huge downfall next
Yeah,
year.
just
Like,
fall off a cliff.
I'm really in between on them. So, all right, fourth round wrapping up here. I decided to go super heavy at running back tonight, something I never do. So we'll see how things turn out for me. But starting things off with Bijan, Kyron, and Rashad White. So
I think the board fell to you. Like once I saw Kyron on the Kyron on the board for you in the second round, I was like, he has to take Kyron here. And it's like, oh, his other boy, Rashad White, sitting right there.
yeah, I just kind of I like the running backs that were there, and it just kind of happened. So we'll see how things shape out.
That's also like an awkward wide receiver tier too
It is, yeah.
in
It's
that
kind of
third
like,
round with DJ Moore, Pittman going in front of you, and then you have Debo, Cup, Waddle
yeah,
right after there. That's a kind of a weird area.
exactly what I was thinking. Like I feel like fourth, potentially fifth round, you can still get somebody a wide receiver who's semi comparable to the names that were going there in the third. All right, big run at quarterback the last two rounds. Josh Allen at the 4.1, Jalen Hurts at the 4.8, and now three quarterbacks off the board here in the fifth round. And Lamar, Mahomes, and Anthony Richardson. So I like it. Some quarterback action tonight. And who in the world am I going to draft next?
Kyle Pitts.
Too early for me.
Always too early for you.
What do you think's going to happen with T. Higgins? Because I feel like he's just like it's so awkward to kind of view him here in the fifth round. Like I mean, he was hurt a lot last year, and it's just such a big question. I feel like he's just going to be in Cincinnati, and like nothing's really going to change until the following season.
Yeah, I mean, he was good when Chase went down, which is what you like to see, but he was awful to start the year when he was healthy, and they had the contract issue last offseason, and he was kind of unhappy with everything. So I don't know. T. Higgins feels like a guy who's kind of in his feelings these days. I don't want to touch him at all unless he gets traded.
I kind of agree. And I just got absolutely sniped.
No, your other. Oh no, you were building your ultimate team right there.
I'm gonna go early tight end tonight. Why not? Give me Dalton Kincaid.
All right, we just gassed him up this morning, so he better be.
I'm gonna switch things up tonight and see what happens. And I'm probably gonna regret it because I'm so used to just drafting super heavy at wide receiver. But good for the practice. All right, Shane, Albert, good to see you guys in the chat. What's up? What's up? And if I do go wide receiver there, I feel like
I would have loved that. Like that's like such your team though. Kirk, Devonta, Rashad, Kyron. Like that is like if there was like I could pick whatever team I want, it would kind of look like what you would have had going there.
Yeah, I would have been super happy if I got Kirk right there. That would have been like that would have made me feel really good. But I'll be hunting for wide receivers for quite a few rounds. And I don't know. There are actually some running backs in this tier right here that I really like as well. But I think if you go that heavy and aggressive at running back through the first like 4 or 5 rounds, you just after
Kinda
you have
go wide out.
You gotta go some late round names after that. So I never do this. We'll see how it turns out. Man, I really like Hollywood Brown going in at the 5.12. I mean, I just at the end of the day, I feel like that's just such a good value. It's really interesting looking at the Chiefs wide receivers going into next year because they're just all over the place, like every draft I do. But Hollywood Brown in the 5th round almost makes me wish I went wide receiver at the 5.8. And Rashee Rice still available, and Xavier Worthy is still available. And I do like Rashee Rice, like if you've gone heavy wide receiver, he's like your wide receiver 3, 4. But I really feel like overall, Hollywood Brown is probably the Chiefs wide receiver I'm going to be drafting the most of. We'll see. It's kind of hard to gauge them right now. All right. I think I know who I'm picking. It's going to be interesting to see what wide receivers are available in the 7th and 8th, though. Part of me wants to go Jordan Addison here, man.
I don't hate you. I had him circled, but
I'm going Chris Godwin.
ooh, okay, that's a little different.
Going in on the Buccaneers wide receivers here or offense here.
But people believe in Baker Mayfield, so I wouldn't do that. We need to start doubting Baker Mayfield, and then we will get it going.
I've always believed in Baker.
No, you have to not believe in Baker. That's when he's good. When you believe in him, he's terrible. He looks like I don't know, Zach Wilson when you believe in him.
Zach Wilson's on the Eagles, right?
No, he is on the Broncos.
Oh, that's right.
There's a real competition there in Denver.
Who did the Eagles sign that's like super random?
I don't know, but I'm a running back. Got sniped there. Ooh, okay, we're gonna have to pivot here because I hate this kind of.
Oh, Kenny Pickett. There you go.
Let's go here. Let's pivot there.
Ooh, I like that pick for you. See, like that's that's the type of wide receiver room that I want Rashee Rice with. Got 3 guys you can trust. Yeah.
I'm so bad at running back right now, though. I'm so bad.
At least you got one upside guy.
Yeah, I can't believe all 3 of those running backs went at the top end of this round.
Vincent, good to see you, man. John is the ultimate Addison truther. I did like Addison a lot going into last year. I actually liked Zay Flowers a hair more. And Addison had a great rookie season. Top 20 fantasy wide receiver. He had like 2 dud games, and other than that, yeah.
Big home run hitter too. You had if you get some of those weird leagues give you that bonus for like 50+ touchdowns.
You gotta remember that Cousins got hurt. Like, I mean, he was on a great pace, and then Cousins got hurt, and he still had some really big games after that. Like week 15 against Cincinnati. That was like a Christmas week game or something weird.
Yeah, it was a Saturday game.
Yeah. And he went. I mean, everyone kind of went crazy that game. But
that was the T. Higgins game too, where he had like 2 touchdowns and
Higgins went crazy that week too. But yeah, 29 points in that game. So there's really nothing about Addison that I don't like, other than it just depends on where you land with your faith in JJ McCarthy. So
McCarthy's not starting next. It's going to be Sam Darnold has looked awesome. I heard Sam Darnold has looked really good. McCarthy's looked good. They said Sam Darnold's looked really good. Loves throwing the ball to he loves throwing the ball to Addison too over the middle. They said he's been feasting there. So, and JJ's not there. JJ's not. Sam Darnold builds that connection with Addison there. That could be something to look at.
That's true. Cat says I just can't get behind Addison next year. Volume goes way down. Worst quarterback play.
But it's really not, though. After Cousins went down, Sam Darnold is not worse than any quarterback we started last year once Cousins went down. Like, he's better than Josh Dobbs. He's better than Nick Mullins. He's way better than Jaron Hall.
Gosh, I totally forgot you guys had like the ultimate quarterback carousel.
We started 4 quarterbacks last year. That's pretty tough.
And just remember the Josh Dobbs, like
the run, that was less of a Linsanity run than Linsanity, and it was just unbelievable. 2 weeks, and it killed us because if he loses those games, we're picking in the top 5, and we could draft Drake May and not give up any capital to get him. Probably.
That was a fun time.
But it worked out. It all worked out. I'm very happy with my team's draft.
It was a great draft. That is definitely true. All right, I'm going JMO here over Calvin Ridley, D Hop, and JSN, and Christian Watson. So
Calvin Ridley feels very hurt by this. He just sent me a text. He's very hurt. I know you're a JMO truther, but
I know. I'm just kind of going with my guys at this point, which may or may not hurt me, but at least I'm drafting with confidence. What a weird team for me. I'd feel so much better if I got Kirk in the 5th round.
yeah,
Shout
you'd
out
be
to
feeling really
Just
good.
But I have a tight end, which is really awkward for me too, because I never have a tight end this early.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting draft. Kind of just hopefully drafting wide receivers that get me like a solid 10 to 15 points on a weekly basis. And
I almost
running back.
I almost went the double tight end. I really almost took Trey McBride instead of Keenan Allen. Just run the Kelsey McBride stack, flex one of my tight ends, and run the other one at tight end.
I don't hate that. Jerry, who is a longtime subscriber of the channel, every league, he does that every year. It's like sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
I think we're at a point where the tight end, there's enough good tight ends where it's not a good move to do it. But there was a stretch there where it was like Kelsey and nobody. There was like a huge gap and nobody else. So if you double dipped with a like Kelsey and then say like Mark Andrews or Kittle, you are just crippling two of the two other teams in the league with no tight ends.
Yeah, huge advantage. Oh gosh. There's like I don't know why running backs are calling my name right here.
Yeah. Don't do it.
I'm gonna ignore it.
Don't do it.
Shane asked, when do you do your underdog drafts? I want to join. So nothing's really set in stone this time of year, but I would say Sunday nights probably for sure. If not, Mondays and Tuesdays look like I'm gonna be I would say Monday and Tuesdays for sure. So I'll try to give you guys a better heads up on Discord about when I'm running those. But we ran like 3 last week and definitely had a blast doing so. So I definitely want to line up some more this coming week. Josh Dobbs, I was so hopeful. Wish he got more of a realistic opportunity, but losing became advantages to Minnesota at a certain point.
Well, no, Josh Dobbs was terrible. The bubble burst. He was horrendous.
Yeah, he couldn't. That game, the game against the Bears.
The Bears Monday night game, which just awful.
The worst game ever.
Awful. He can't. And I saw it the week before in Denver. They lost on like the last. Sutton made that crazy catch to end that game there, and I saw it in that game like, oh, this is over. This is done. We gotta get somebody else. And then they played him against the Bears, and it was a disaster. And then they played him against the Raiders, and they benched him, and they somehow won that game 3-0.
I kind of miss the Vikings of last year and the Broncos of last year. We're not going to see that at all this year.
No, not at all.
I want to look at like the actual NFL schedule. Let's see here. Who do we even have week 1? Ravens Chiefs to start. All right, 1:00 games are Panthers Saints. That's going to be boring. Patriots Bengals.
Bad.
Yeah. Texans Colts could be interesting for sure.
That's a fun one.
Titans Bears. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's a layup for Caleb Williams. Like they want to get Caleb a good start. That's such a layup game for them.
I don't know, man. The Titans have kind of stacked up this offseason. That could be interesting. It's a home game for the Bears. Broncos at Seahawks. That feels like a Seahawks win, but you never know. The NFL's crazy. Sean Payton could have something cooked up with Bo Nix. Probably going to be a bad game, though. Cowboys at Browns. That could be
that's an interesting game. That's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's first game on the call there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Then we got Rams at Lions. That'll be good. those two teams tend to be an interesting matchup. This kind of goes out of order. So, okay, we also have Packers at Eagles. That should be a good game, actually.
Yeah, that's in Brazil. That's on a Friday. That's in Brazil.
I was wondering, like, what is up with this schedule? That's week 1 they're doing that?
Yeah, week 1, Friday in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Okay. Weird. Vikings at Giants. Ooh.
Woo, Danny Dimes. Woo.
That should be a win for your squad.
Right? I think the Giants are favorite by multiple points in that game.
Steelers at Falcons, the Arthur Smith revenge game, week 1.
Love it.
That might be interesting. First look at this new Falcons offense. Steelers are one of those teams you never count them out, though. Cardinals at Bills. That actually should be interesting because this Bills defense is like way different. Pass catchers are different. Cardinals got a little juice behind them, maybe, but we'll see what happens. Jags Dolphins. That's kind of interesting.
That feels like a must win for both of those teams.
For sure. Raiders Chargers. A new era for the Chargers. Raiders, another team. I feel like the Raiders, Steelers, these two teams that it's like, I just never count them out.
I don't know, man.
They just get the most random wins. Like
it feels pretty desperate in Vegas.
It does, but they like just randomly beat like good teams. Like when they beat the Chiefs, like week 15, everyone was like, "Oh, the Chiefs."
That was like the new coach. Like we're riding high on Antonio Pierce. We're gonna wing it. I don't know if they could sustain that going into the season.
That's fair. Commanders Bucks. I like that game. That'll be juicy. Let's go Commanders. And then Jets Niners is the last game of week 1. Will Aaron Rodgers get hurt?
Oh, you missed the Sunday night game.
I did.
Right, Rams at the Lions.
Oh, I said that one.
Oh, did you? I missed that.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta make it. Okay.
Pick.
I like that game for sure.
That's the best game. That was a great playoff game. That's a great game right there.
Oh man, I'm gonna take Jordan Love here, but I really probably should have gone either I love Jerome Ford, a great value right there. That's who I was really thinking about taking. And there's been a lot of running backs taken in the last 2 or 3 rounds. All right, let's see. Dobbs won a game, 5 days on the team. To say he was awful as a stretch. Well, at the end, it was
no, he was awful in the Chicago game. It was like one of those crazy miracle runs for 2 games. But he was really bad in the second half against New Orleans. He was kind of okay to bad towards the end of that Denver game. And then he was the worst against Chicago. Like just he threw like 4 interceptions in that game.
I completely forgot that. Wait, what team was Dobbs on before he went to the Vikings?
He went from Cleveland to the and then he was starting, and then he started for the Cardinals. He was starting for Kyler, but then Kyler came back.
He was better with the Cardinals before he faded off with the Vikings. So week 12 against Chicago, 32 passing attempts, 22 completions, 185 passing yards, a touchdown, 4 picks, and just 11 rushing yards.
And they were bad, like back-breaking, just awful picks, like right to defenders.
And then he got benched the next week against Philly.
Yeah.
Then he played a little bit against Las Vegas and was really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad. 23 attempts, 10 completions, 63 passing yards. No picks, no touchdowns, 21 rushing yards. So it just like really fizzled out because he was, pretty dang good at the Cardinals actually.
He's a one-trick pony. He
does time in that system too.
He just doesn't know how to throw the ball. Like he can't layer a ball. He's really bad at reading over the middle. Like there's a reason why he's like kind of a backup for his entire career.
I love that we're just having like a Josh Dobbs debate.
Yeah, right. Saw him in college.
This is
I
why I
made fun
love
of him.
the off season. But yeah, I mean, and we have to keep in mind that Pete is a loyal Vikings fan, so his feelings might be stronger.
It'd be
Give,
accurate.
give me a sneaky breakout offense. Last year, Texans. I got Seattle and Cardinals. Less sneaky.
Washington. If you want to go real sneaky, Washington's offense.
I do like Washington. I just kind of like you to ask yourself the question: where is your trust in Jaden Daniels as a rookie quarterback? Because when you go back, I saw this. Like I didn't mean to see this, but I just saw like it was like a mashup of like plays in college of Jaden Daniels getting hit. Oh my god. It's kind of scary, dude. He's just not good at like if you think Anthony Richardson was bad at like protecting his body, it's even worse.
Jane Daniels has no fear. He has
Yeah.
no fear.
And I mean, it was like Jaden Daniels looks like a cartoon character when he gets hit, is like what the caption was. And I mean, it is pretty bad. So that's definitely something that's got to change. But I do think if he stays healthy, this offense will look much, much different with Cliff Kingsbury's offensive coordinator. Still got good weapons on this team. I guess I'm drafting Chuba Hubbard. That's fine.
I like that pick.
Between McLaurin, I think Dotson could be much better than the disappointing, year he had last year. I like Ben Sinnett. So, there's still two good running backs on this team with Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. Offensive line is not great, but it could be worse. Defense is the defensive front's still good, but that secondary, did they get any better this offseason? I don't think so.
That's good though. Get high scoring games.
True.
I want a great defense. Let them open it up. And if they're down 4 touchdowns, you get a couple of garbos, baby, and you lose 42-35 or something like that.
Right. So yeah, I like Washington. I think that's a good pick. I mean, let's take a look here. Who else could be sneaky? We're talking Texans sneaky because admittedly, like, I wasn't even in on the Texans offense last year.
I don't think anybody thought that the Texans offense would be a top. There's no way anybody thought Houston would have a top 15 offense, let alone like what were they, top 5, top 7?
People liked Nico Collins. People liked Tank Dell, but that no one was expecting what we got last year, and a lot of people were down on CJ Stroud. It's kind of like a smear campaign against CJ Stroud last offseason.
Well, he got like a 3 on his recognizance test or whatever. Like,
does that matter? Like, I've never heard of that.
It kind of seemed like it did. You should. I don't know. It didn't, but it wasn't the Wonderlic. Like the Wonderlic's kind of. I always say a good score doesn't tell you anything, but a bad score usually does. You have to be able to process stuff. I don't know. It was weird.
Man, I think I'm going to draft Jerry Jeudy, which feels gross. Jerry Jeudy or Gabe Davis? Who would you rather? Or Brandon Cooks?
Not neither. Gabe Davis, maybe because we believe in Trevor.
I'm drafting Brandon Cooks. All wide receiver 2s going very late, unless you're counting Evan Engram, Jake Ferguson, or David Njoku as the wide receiver 2 on those teams, which is fair. So I like all 3 of those guys kind of right there. Just kind of like which offense do you feel best about, Cleveland, Jacksonville, or Dallas? And kind of a coin toss there. But Cooks at times last year was really, really good, but very boomer bust.
Yeah, he had a couple of good games, very good games. I'm going Troy Franklin.
Definitely a guy that's going in your flex, and you're just like, I hope for the best. Is that Diggs in the 3rd round? Yeah, Diggs at 3.4.
Yeah, great pick. I wonder who could have done that.
Yeah, and I guess with looking at Gabe Davis and Cats, don't forget you were like the biggest Gabe Davis supporter last offseason, so don't even come at me. But I guess it's fair to say that Brian Thomas, the wide receiver 2 on that team, coming out of LSU, early draft pick.
I don't know. He may not be able to learn the offense. I don't know.
You know what I meant.
So no, I get it. It's just there's a little more of a risk. Like I know Gabe Davis can run straight and catch a football if it's thrown
Veteran
to
guy.
him.
I'm surprised you're not on the Gabe Davis hype train. You were the Gabe Davis hype train last offseason. All right, so gosh, we're already done. Yeah, we've been streaming for 35 minutes. That makes sense. I don't know if I'm going to take another just random running back or if I'm just going to take one more wide receiver here. I feel like with running backs, like
That's nice.
you get more waiver opportunities throughout the regular season.
Yeah.
Because he was in a Josh Allen offense, not because he's good at football. This is fair.
Josh Allen offense is terrible throwing the football. It might as well be a 1940s power run offense with Josh Allen half the time.
This is true. Gosh, we need to start to see Josh Allen take off. It's like, geez. I really hope that like James Cook is actually maximized this season. And but the thing is, Josh Allen's so good at protecting himself, and he's like such a physical specimen. It's just like I don't know if that's going to change.
We said the same thing about, I'm not comparing these two, not related. Josh Allen is a far superior quarterback, but we said the same thing about Cam, and Cam broke. He's by 30.
Well, the league right now is protecting these types of quarterbacks, and back then they wanted Cam to get hit. It felt like so, but you're right. You're right. I mean, as soon as he got, and he didn't even get, he wasn't even running when he hurt that shoulder. So you just never know. And then there's a point you can't really come back from. Before you know it,
the body just everything just starts racking up on you.
And you're getting replaced by Mac Jones. So
Oracle.
All right, I'm just going to draft Ricky Pearsall, but kind of thought about taking Jaden Daniels there as like a QB2 behind Jordan Love, but
I think Jordan Love's probably safe enough as a QB.
Exactly. I'll take the wide receiver depth. Vince wants to know why we like Diggs in the third. So, I mean, a lot of good wide receivers in that tier between Diggs, Evans, DJ Moore, Pittman. I think there's a tier break when you get into Debo, Cup, and Waddle. But, I mean, really, you're just looking at this Houston Texans offense, and we know it's going to be good. Next season, they're going to score a lot of points. You are taking a gamble whether you draft Collins or Diggs or Dell. Nico went at 2.10. Dell went at the 4.3. All these guys are going to be good next year. I think Nico will probably be the most consistent. And the other two might be a little bit boom or bust throughout the season, but they're going to get red zone targets, all three of them. They're going to make big plays. And this Texas offense might be the best offense in the league next year. So I don't have any problem wanting to take any one of those wide receivers. And I feel the same way about like Chicago's wide receivers. Like you got three studs on paper right now. I don't have any problem going after any three of those guys and just understanding that it's going to be hard for either of these offenses to have consistent performances at the wide receiver position, but the points are going to be there. And especially in PPR leagues, these guys should all be fine. I think Dell's probably the biggest question mark because he's just a kind of a pure upside guy.
I think they go in the right order. You go Nico, then you go Diggs kind of close, and then a little bit, and then Dell.
Sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for some team reviews. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thank you guys for drafting with us. All right, what'd you do tonight, Penny Feather? We got Mahomes. Nothing to say there. Hawkinson and Goddard. I mean, I like it. If you're going to go late round tight end and draft two tight ends, we know Hawk's probably going to miss some time, but this feels like a great combination. Not really any value lost. I mean, Goddard a down season last year, but top 15, missed some time. Goddard should be okay, even though last year was a big frowny face. Henry, Kamara, Chubb, Brian Robinson. I think if you like Nick Chubb as a late round value, you feel okay about him, then this is a pretty dang good running back room. I like Brian Robinson a lot in the ninth. Fine with Henry and Kamara right there. Let's see. CeeDee Lamb, Olave, Ramadunze, Ladd, Lockett, Judy. Good wide receiver room. Yeah, this is a solid team, man. You're starting Mahomes and Goddard to start the year. Lamb and Olave, Henry and Kamara. Then might have to kind of play around with the flex. maybe it's Rowe, maybe it's Ladd, maybe it's just both those guys. Maybe throw in one of these running backs. Maybe Lockett and Judy provide some consistency for you. Depends kind of how the season looks for those guys. But yeah, this is a good team, man. Biggest question is, do you like Nick Chubb next year or not? All right, Box and the Jack. What's up, bro? How are you? No quarterback. I just said, I forgot to draft a quarterback. All right, so like Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence, I think Herbert. There are some names here, so you could drop a guy and you'd be okay. So, question at quarterback. Let's put a question mark. Mark Andrews, you're fine there. Jacobs, Mostert. I love Jonathan Brooks in the 8th. I'm starting to kind of rise on him in redraft as much as I like Chuba Hubbard. Charbs, you got Estime, Pierce. I mean, running back's okay. Like, you're probably going to go Jacobs and Mostert, then see if you can get like a starter out of one of these rookies. I do like Jonathan Brooks, but I don't know if he's going to start this season with a full workload, but he's definitely going to have the opportunity to take over. And I like Mostert where you got him, but a little bit of a question mark potentially in terms of RB depth. Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Hopkins, Bateman. Yeah, good wide receiver room for sure. So let's say we're starting Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, or Herbert, Kirk Cousins. Like, you'd have some options. Mark Andrews, then Amon-Ra, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Jacobs, and Mostert. So your starting lineup looks great. And then kind of your question would be, how do you rotate these guys on the bench and who steps up for you as potential, to offer consistency or not. So solid core roster for sure. Bench is a bit of a question mark, and you will need a quarterback. You do have to start one. All right, Chase, what's going on, dude? We got Lamar at QB. He is good. We talked about Lamar tonight. We like him. Laporta at tight end, so you're good there. C-Mac is your RB1. Then you got Tajay Spears, Trey Benson, Jalen Wright, and Bucky Irving. So, I mean, once again, like, you have your RB1 set in stone, obviously. I like Spears and Benson where you got them. It's kind of one thing that can happen if you go QB and tight end early is like you kind of sacrifice something somewhere. And for this roster, it's mainly the RB2 position. So, I mean, you can always figure it out. And maybe Spears and Benson do enough this season that you figure it out that way. So, Ayuk, Flowers, Xavier Worthy, Brian Thomas, Dotson, and Palmer. Pretty good wide receiver room for this given strategy. So you're starting Lamar and Laporta, C-Mac, and Spears. Ayuk, Flowers. And then your two flex options, like, is it Worthy? Is it Brian Thomas? Is it Dotson? Is it Trey Benson? You have a couple things to figure out here, but a lot of potential, a lot of upside with this team. And you're good at, QB, tight end, RB1, wide receiver 1 and 2. And you got a little stack with Lamar and Flowers too. So I think you'd figure it out. All right, Cats at the 111 tonight. What is up, my guy? Burrow at QB, Bowers and Njoku at tight end. So I'm okay with that. For some people, the verdict's out on Burrow going into this season, but could be a really, really good value in the 10th. Walker, Connor, Monty, the Doodle, and Chandler. Good running back room for not going running back till the 4th. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Jalen Waddle. Were all these guys in the same? No. Just Wilson and London. I was about to say. That would have been cool. JSN, and I love Jermaine Burton in the 13th round. So good wide receiver room. You're starting Burrow and Njoku, Walker and Connor, then Wilson, London, Waddle. Yeah, you can flex Monty, flex JSN, maybe flex anyone else really. Maybe flex Bowers. So yeah, I like this team perk. Good drafting. All right, Tucci, what did we do tonight, my guy? Josh Allen. He will get you lots of fantasy points. He has been the QB1 every year since 2020, except for 2022. So he'll be okay. Ingram, don't mind Ingram the 7th whatsoever. Mixon, Aaron Jones, Javonte, Kendrick Miller. You could get by, probably. Not a ton of upside there, but you could get by. All right, Puka, MH Jr., Hollywood, A.D. Mitchell, Khalil Shakir, Mike Williams, Jaden Polk. So interesting wide receiver room. But once again, I think you could get by, and you got some good value potentially on some of these guys. So starting Allen and Ingram, Mixon and Jones, Puka, Hollywood, probably going to flex Marvin Harrison Jr. right off the bat. Then you just got to kind of figure out that second flex option. Maybe it's Javonte, maybe it's Shakir. And do one of these other late round rookie wide receivers step up for you or not is the big question. Andrea, good to see you at the 1.10. What we do tonight? Kyler in the 9th. Love that value. Pitts, this is the year. This is the year, Kyle Pitts. Believe it now.
Every year is the year of Kyle Pitts.
This is the actual year. Gibbs, JT, Eckler, Marshawn Lloyd, Antonio Gibson, good running back room. Kupp, Dell, Pickens, McLaurin. I love those 4 guys right in a row. Jacoby Myers, fine. Marvin Mims, why not? 13th round, doesn't hurt you. Yeah, so this is a pretty good team. You're starting Kyler and Pitts, Gibbs and Taylor, Kupp, Dell, flexing Pickens and McLaurin, Eckler, and then everyone else on the bench. So, yeah, I like this team. I think it's a really good core roster. And then, I mean, you have some depth at running back on your bench, including Eckler. And then Myers, probably fine-ish. You know, was wide receiver 21 last year, kind of going unnoticed right now. So, top 25 wide receiver. Who's going to be the quarterback? It's not going to be any worse than last year, right? Marvin Mims is kind of an upside pick. So, yeah, I really like this core roster, Andrew. I think it's a good draft. All right, let's see. Okay. I guess I did that super quick. My bad. Let's look at Pete's team. Purdy. That's my guy. Can't hate on Purdy. I saw that you went double quarterbacks. You got Caleb Williams, too. I don't hate that. Kelsey. He is good, as always. A-Chain, Najee, Devin Singletary, Blake Corum. So you kind of mentioned this early, like you didn't really love your running backs tonight. But at least you got A-Chain offer that upside, right? And I think with what you're given, 7th round onward, you did okay. JJ Diggs, Allen Rice. I mean, I love the start at wide receiver. I love Dobbs in the 10th. I think that was a great value. Then why not pick Troy Franklin? Like you're taking a dart throw at this point anyway. So
I might have to trade for a running back.
You might, but I mean, I think Najee Harris or Singletary could get you like 8 to 10 points if they don't score. And if they do score, maybe more. And I do like Blake Corum. I do think he's going to be surprisingly involved in this offense. Like, he actually makes me worried for Kyron. But then the big thing is I just think he's a great handcuff if something does happen to Kyron, because Kyron was hurt at points last year. So I think he was a good pick for you. You'd be starting Purdy and Kelsey, A-Chain and Najee. You just really can't have A-Chain get hurt with this build.
No, can't do it.
JJ Diggs, Allen, then let's say Dobbs if Rice misses time. If he doesn't, then you have a really nice kind of wide receiver room. And even if he does, you still have a good wide receiver room. So I don't think he's going to miss more than 4 to 6 games. So good enough team. I mean, other than running back, how do you feel about it?
I can't complain. Complain. Like, I'm happy with the wide receiver room. Like, I like Diggs at the 3-4. You know, Keenan Allen's kind of whatever. I thought Kelsey in the 4th was kind of good value there. We've been seeing him go a little bit closer to Laporta.
That's fair. Yeah, it's so interesting because Kelsey has been like a top 10 to 12 pick the past, like, I mean, even like, 2 years ago, he was going like 1.5, 1.6 in some leagues.
Like, the only flip, maybe I go Flowers instead of Kelsey and then take McBride instead of Keenan Allen. That's kind of the trade-off there if I'm going to go tight end high, or I could just go tight end late.
This is fair. Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
I don't know. I don't hate it. Normally, I hate my team. I can live with it. I can live with this team.
You would be playing the waiver game for running back, I think. But
Yeah, that's usually how it goes anyway. The best laid
That's
plans at
true.
running back.
That's true. All right, let's roast my team. Jordan Love in the 10th, Kincaid in the 5th. Kind of switched it up tonight. Like I said, went aggressive at running back early and just wanted to see what would happen. And I went tight end early, which I never do. But we got Bijan, Kyron, Rashad White, and I love that. And I think these guys, for the most part, will be healthy enough throughout the season to carry me. But then, I just could not go running back again until super late. We get Chuba Hubbard. Maybe should have drafted another running back in the 12th or 13th round, but I'm not overly concerned about the running back room. We got sniped in the 5th, which is why we went Kincaid, because I really wanted Christian Kirk here, which maybe would have made me feel different about this team. But I still think the wide receiver room is good enough. Devonta Smith, Chris Godwin, Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, Cortland Sutton, Brandon Cooks, Ricky Pearsall. So I think Godwin and Devonta would be my starters. Then everyone else is just rotating
Yeah,
throughout the flex.
you're never flexing at wide receiver anyway. It's just there's top
Yeah.
3
And
are
I mean,
getting
with this
played.
build,
Yeah.
you could flex a running back too. You kind of almost, with the draft capital you spent on it, you almost
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah, you're flexing
So
at running back.
I
Yeah,
actually kind of like this team. You just have to understand that your upside is not at the wide receiver position. But I still think that even J-Mo and Watson offers some upside, and Cooks to a degree just might not be.
it's like any week a wide receiver you play catches a touchdown, you're in really good shape.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, be starting J-Lo, Kincaid, Bijan, and Kyron, Devonta and Godwin, then probably flexing White, then just flexing. Honestly, I feel like I'd be flexing Cortland Sutton because I
Sutton,
trust him
yeah.
the most. And then, but having J-Mo and Watson on the bench with Chuba, Cooks, and Peter Solid, I don't think I hate this team. I actually kind of like this team. I just would definitely need the running backs to stay healthy, and I definitely need Devonta and Godwin to stay healthy, I think. So, but yeah, I like this team for just switching up my strategy for the night. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to start getting interesting from time to time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we hit all of our team reviews. Great draft tonight, everyone. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight, talking some fantasy, drafting with us. And I think everyone drafted great. So we will be back on either tomorrow night or Sunday night. We'll kind of play it by ear. And I'll plan on being on Monday and Tuesday as well to run some underdog drafts with you guys. And we will have content coming out each and every day. So just stay tuned and let's continue to enjoy the off season and continue to get prepared for the 2024 fantasy football season. So, Andrew, have a good night. Everyone else, have a great night. Thank you guys for hanging out. Like I said, thank you to those of you who drafted with us. Pete, I'll let you sign off and then we'll get out of here.
Great draft as always. Like you said, tomorrow is June. We're getting into the thick of it. We got more content coming out every day. I think we're trying to put out content. Think we're trying to get set on a time for our shorts. I think we've kind of been set. I think it's going to be one for our breakdown shorts you've been putting out. So 1 Eastern throughout the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, guaranteed a short, probably other shorts, clips from the stream throughout the week. So yeah, lots of good stuff coming out for you guys.
And guys, if you are not part of the Discord, that link's down below. It's free to join. Make sure you do that. Instagram's down below. We're also on TikTok now. So make sure to go check out all the other platforms so you guys can get more content from us. And we will talk to you guys shortly. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And peace.